You guys, the kid is 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 the kid, back in it, trying to live, trying to exist, trying to stay alive, trying to live, trying to exist, trying to stay alive. So, Red Dead Redemption 2, it has been completed, it has been done, and this has been a long time coming. So first of all, I just think yeah, I have to first give a background to things before I say what's up. So the background to this is I'm a huge fan of westerns, massive fan of westerns. One of my favorite films of all time is For a Few Dollars More, the film with Clint Eastwood and Gian Maria Volonte and the whole Sergio Leone series, and even that character that Gian Maria Volonte plays, basically Indio, in A Few Dollars More, is one of my favorite movie characters of all time. So I am a huge fan of the western, in terms of the setting, the characters, the cinematic nature of the environment, and so forth. So I've always been like a huge fan of that. So and there's never really been a really good quality Western game, like an open world Western game that really fully captures what it feels like to be in that setting. So I remember Red Dead Revolver. And when Red Dead Revolver came out and said what's up, I was like, okay, this is cool. But really, Red Dead Revolver was not very so sophisticated, and the game was very linear. Like all you did was just do shootouts, and you just had to follow a certain path and everything. So then Red Dead Redemption. I can't remember when Red Dead Redemption came out. So basically, I can't remember when I heard about it. But because I played Red Dead Revolver, and again, I was like, this is when Rockstar used to make video games. Before they now became these merchants. So basically, once again, profits. So when I then heard about it, I was like, okay, a Western, and now this is open world. I was like, okay. So again, as soon as it came out, I got it. I was in there, and yeah, man, Red Dead Redemption was an amazing game. So, guys, just to be clear here, there will be spoilers in this stream. If you have not played Red Dead Redemption 1 or Part 2, I would advise you to finish those games before watching the stream. I will repeat again. So, guys, can't say anything. There will be spoilers in this stream. There will be spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 1 and Red Dead Redemption 2. There will be spoilers for both of these games. If you have not played these games, please exit this stream right now. Please exit this stream right now. So, so Red Dead Redemption for me, like that is one of the best games I've ever played. An absolutely amazing, superb game. It felt like you were in the West. The settings, the horse riding, the saloons, the people, the characters, the missions you were on. It was like, wow, this is what it really feels like to be in the West. But I think, and again, this is almost similar to the kind of earlier stream that we had about Halo, is what sets Red Dead Redemption apart was, apart from just the main mechanics of good gameplay, good technicalities, good sound, and the production value being top notch. It was, and this is where we're going to go deep. The story was cool. It was a cool story. The story was cool. But for me, it has to be one of the best endings to any video game ever. And it was a shocking ending. I still remember the ending because, again, I was like, okay, you have the main guy and you always with the main guy. You always have the main guy. The main guy begins the story, the main guy ends the story, and that's how it's always going to be. But the fact that the main character dies, I was like, what? Because again, you grew up to John Marston and everything, what is about and so forth. So when you see his villain say what's up to him, and he gets lacked and he gets Lara Crofted, I was like, what? Really? So it was crazy. And it was even crazier was the epilogue. We now had your Jack Marston dude who then grew up and then he then took revenge on the guy that killed her. So I was like, that is imagination. And that is what video games can do. And that's why video games can go where you bring something creative, which is why I don't know whether you guys have played this game. It's called Heavy Rain by David Cage. A very, very imaginative, creative game. And even when you play Heavy Rain, you've never played a game like Heavy Rain in your life before. It is completely new. Same thing with the indie game I played, Limbo. See, I don't care about any of this multiplayer Shaq, FIFA cards, any of this regurgitated trash. The video game I like is something that does something new, exciting, that really pushes the boundary artistically of what a video game experience can be. So for me, just that ending and doing something so bold for an end like that, I thought was amazing. So for me, I was all about, let's see part 2. Let's see what they can do for part 2. And let me just say this right off the bat, and then I will go in deep. Ooh, more coming in with something big. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the most realistic video game I've ever played. Stupid. The realism on the game is insane. So many times I would just assume that, hey, I'm playing a video game. And then I'll be reminded about how much effort the designers have gone into in making this realistic. So that's just off the bat is they treat your environment supremely realistic. Your horse operates like a horse. The key thing is how you react with buildings. If you run straight and you come in contact with something, in most video games, you just go straight. But in real life, if you come in contact with something with enough speed, you will go flying. And the amount of times where I'll be like, oh, blah, blah. I just come in contact with like a branch, the side of a building, a wagon, and I just go way over and go tumbling. I was like, because that's what will really happen. The way that you move, how you would climb up a rock and everything, it's like, this is ridiculous. The realism is ridiculous, especially, and also with the eating as well, where you can be overweight, you can be underweight. The effort that these dudes puts in to make this game real is insane. And they just took that to the next level from part 1. Other thing as well was also as well, if anybody has played this and wants to jump on this stream, give a shout out to me, and then I will send you guys a link, because I want to make this a back and forth. So if anybody wants to be part of this stream, give a shout out to me in the live chats, and then I will send you the stream. But let me just get up my review. So, most realistic game I've ever played. Facts. The map is insane. The map is insane. It's huge. And I'm not sure, because I was trying to think to myself that which map is bigger? Is the Skyrim map bigger or is this map bigger? Because the Skyrim map was huge. But bro, to go from like the mountains, like the Indian reservation, to like roads, bro, that could take you about 20 minutes. Or basically with horse, maybe 8 minutes. If you were to walk that, it could take you like an hour or something easily. It's like the map is huge. The map is absolutely colossal. And so that's what thing. The graphics. I told you we saw that garbage Halo Infinite today. This game's graphics are like 3,000 times better than that garbage we just saw today, Halo Infinite. And the graphics are stupid. And the characters, and we'll get to the story, the characters in this game, the quality of the voice acting and just the character models and the characterization is incredible. There are times when in the cutscenes you will see Arthur Morgan, and I'll talk about Arthur, and you just see him do an expression with his eyes, and I'm like, bro, like that's like real. So 1,000% they must have used mocap. They have to have used mocap in it, because at times we're like, bro, like that's like a real expression. And the funny thing is, because what I did was as soon as I finished the game, because I've not played Red Dead Redemption 1 for a long time, I went onto YouTube just to look at the intro of Red Dead Redemption 1. And the leap in graphics is colossal. Like how John Marston looks in part 2 to how he looks like in part 1, is he doesn't look like the same guy. And I'll get it up. So yeah, the graphics in it are stupendous. Absolutely amazing, stupendous. So the guy say, oh, so Daniel, check your DM. I've sent you the link, because you said you wanted to be part of it. So Daniel, I've sent you the stream. Wait, sorry. Let me actually send it to you now. I will send you the StreamYard link, Daniel, because I know you said you wanted to be part of this. All right. There you go. So yeah, so Daniel, I've sent you the StreamYard link, bro. Australian itinerary link. So yeah, so basically, so look, man, it was all that stuff was quite so again, graphics, gameplay, the level of the map, the design, the realism, top notch, incredible. The voice acting was. This might be some of the best voice acting I've had in a game. Forget about the script. In terms of voice acting, it might be some of the best voice acting I've actually had in a game. So let's also talk about the story. Now, this is what people need to understand, because again, I do my research. The people who write these video games aren't professional writers. Let's start there. The people who write these video games are not professional writers. Okay, I told you I'm a movie merchant. I've watched dozens upon dozens on dozens of films. I've written short scripts, screenplays. I've read script, so I know and understand the world of what I know what a good screenplay looks like. I know what good writing looks like. So I'm not saying that the writing is not bad, but let's just start there that these guys are not writers. They are game creators, game developers. So Dan Houser and his brother and the guy Unsworth, they are video game guys first. They're not writers first. They are video game idea guys first. So they are idea people, and they are they basically head the team to develop this game. So what you need to understand about this, because this is how people say, "Oh my gosh, like I can't wait for this to be a film." I don't want a film of Red Dead Redemption because there's no story, or rather, there isn't a strong enough narrative or story for there to be a compelling film of Red Dead Redemption. You see, the best Western film is Unforgiven. See, my favorite is Feudalism, but the best Western film is Unforgiven, which is a fantastic film. When you look at Unforgiven, that is a quality script with superb writing. The writing in that film is superb, because really great writing is less is more. Is less is more, and really understanding character, and there's a clear, strong narrative. You have to understand this. When you're playing a video game, especially a game like a GTA or a Red Dead Redemption, you have to have many missions. You have to have dozens of missions. So there are many dozens of storylines, and as well, you have to create interesting missions, because you see, it's hard with a game like this because it's a massive game and a huge game that is very, very dense. Your first port of call is to create a compelling video gaming experience, not to create a great story. Of course, you want it to be a great story, but these guys are not filmmakers. They are video game designers. And as a video game designer, which is true, your first priority is to create a great video gaming experience. So great gameplay, great design, great missions, variety of missions, and a great imagination of different missions. And the missions in this were superb, like the bank job, when some dude was about to get hanged, all that kind of stuff. So the variety of missions in this were absolutely great. So yeah, Daniel, I see you in the background. I'll bring you in soon. I'll bring you in soon. But let me just get this off. But I will bring you in soon, Daniel. I see you in the studio. So the thing here is that Red Dead Redemption 2, in some, like, look, the characters are really good. I'm just not sure that the story was that great. So the illustration of the writers and the voice actors, because people are like, the voice acting is so good. It's quality. Like the character of Dutch, Mike. I mean, but the funny thing about Micah, I knew this dude was going to betray them. I knew it from the moment on. The way he was talking, the way he was operating, like, yeah, because he's like that good in like that dude in 310 to Yuma, not Christian Bale, the other dude in 310 to Yuma. You could just tell by the way he talks and his manner that this guy betrayed this dude. Like I didn't trust him. So, and even as well with Arthur, I was like, like these characters are very well realized. But the thing about this is that I actually prefer John Marston to Arthur, and which is why it's funny that as Mo put that out there. This is a better game aesthetically than part 1. 100%. It's a better game. I felt better satisfaction. The experience for me was as a whole better in part 1 than part 2, mainly because of how good a character John Marston is and the ending. I think with Arthur, I was like, okay, wait. You see, for me, I didn't really the Arthur character, like I'd say great voice acting, superb graphics. Okay, are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? Are you a sweetheart or anything? Because you're supposed to be an outlaw. You see, with Marston, you knew that all he cared about was his family, but he's an outlaw. The guy's an outlaw. The guy is from the road. The guy is from the road. So the guy is a full-on thug, and he embraces his thuggery. So yeah, and so what guys need to realize is that a lot of these video games, we think the stories are a lot better than we think they are because we are interacting with them. So the mistake that people make is that, oh my gosh, this will make such a great film. You can't make a film of Red Dead Redemption. If you're making a film, you're just capitalizing on its immense popularity. Because the key thing of Red Dead Redemption is you are interacting with it, and it's a great gameplay experience, and it's a simple but interesting story with really, really good characters. So the world is amazing that it's been built, but in terms of an actual narrative story, as I said, the best story in a video game, I keep telling you guys this, dust off your PS1, and play Legacy of Kain, Soul River 1 and Soul River 2. I promise you, that for me is the best story in any video game because that is a really good story. That is like an amazing story in terms of the character, the plot, how well the plot is written and so forth. It's crazy because the person that wrote it was Amy Hennig, who was behind the Uncharted games. So let me bring in your boy Dan in there. So Dan, is your mic working there, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, cool. I can hear you. Cool. So first off, your initial thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2, overall thoughts, and where do you rank it in terms of games that you've played?
Well, okay, so Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely in my top 10 games I've ever played. I don't know if it's top 5, but it's definitely top 10. It's an amazing game. Probably in terms of graphics, probably the best game I've ever played when it comes to graphics and details, that's for sure. I mean, Rockstar's amazing at these kind of games. It's been a while since I played it, but I just remember every time I went on my PlayStation just thinking, what game should I play? Oh, Red Dead Redemption. I still haven't played that. Let me play it. It's just a game that it gets you completely. At least it got me. The story it made me feel like I was part of the world. The characters made me feel like they were real characters, and I don't know. I got really invested in the game. So yeah.
Actually, I think this thanks to your boy Just Best says that chapter 5 Guarma was insane. But I'll be real with you. I mean, do you remember that level when you were on that kind of South American island and you had to sort of fight this kind of crazy political leader?
Yeah, so I think what they were trying to replicate was in Red Dead Redemption 1, they went to Mexico.
Mexico, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing though, and see, this is my a small gripe. It's so good you bring that up. I think they were copying a lot of story beats from part 1. Like for instance, see when you went to Mexico, I was like, oh wow, that was a really great transition when you ended up in Mexico. And for me, that felt a lot better than this. Because in this, the Mexico level in part 1 didn't seem too removed from the kind of Western kind of psychology. But the whole Guarma thing seemed as if, it seemed as if I was playing like Uncharted. It just seemed like a wholly different game from Thingy, which it was still cool, but I just think the Mexico one worked a lot better. And also as well, I think I started off by saying that the ending of part one was amazing. Like for me, that's one of the best and most shocking endings to a video game I've ever played. Where in part
Yeah.
one, like John Marston dies, he gets killed, and
Oh,
you
don't
now
spoil it,
have to
man.
now play as your son.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't like spoiling too much. I think everyone should play that game. It's
Oh,
amazing.
no, see, for me, I said at the very beginning that they're going to be spoilers.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so I already said that's like so nobody can say anything to me and say look because I just think like it'll be very hard to have a deep discussion without going into spoilers. So I said at the beginning, it's your own thing that there will be spoilers. There will be spoilers. I've said at the beginning, there will be spoilers in this game. If you haven't played this game, please don't watch the stream. And so my machine is my machine. I'll send you the stream soon. So my thing is yeah. So the ending. So the ending for this, I felt they were again trying to replicate part one. And even if I thought I thought because see, in this it was the epilogue was much fuller. The epilogue was much fuller in this. Because you really got to see Marston, his family, him trying to really get back to normality and so forth. And it was a greater build up to obviously him meeting Micah and so forth, and that whole kind of showdown. Um, but it just seemed see for me, it just seemed as if it was treading old ground. And I felt that they could have maybe done something a bit more imaginative with the ending. Like I was just even thinking
Mm.
about it today that I don't know, maybe you do like for the epilogue, you play as Arthur when he was a lot younger or something. So you have like a bit of a backlog into his story and see how he met Dutch. Or maybe, for example, maybe you even play as Dutch and somehow you as Dutch actually kill Micah, but you're actually operating and using just something different and
Yeah,
fresh. It just seemed as if, oh no, this is, and also like the whole thing of the son who grows up and then kills Thingy was a lot stronger. And as well, see, this part two, because it was a prequel, it enhances part one because you now know of the history of John Marston, and you now even know much more about his son and everything. But so what did you think? So how would you compare both of the endings of the game, part one and part two?
so I just heard what you said. We said about Dutch. I think if they were ever going to make a third one, because I've been thinking about this quite a lot, and that would be a perfect third Red Dead Redemption if they just changed it to Dutch, because he's still alive, he's still out there.
Yeah,
So I think that would be amazing if they just kept going with him. And then there's a scene similar to the one where they went to Mexico, where you're riding on a horse and they play music on the background. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember this if you played Red Dead Redemption 2, which is one, in my opinion, probably the best part of the game was when you're riding on a horse going to like, what was it, to kill Micah, I think it was. And there's some music playing in the background, and honestly, that was amazing. I even get shivers just thinking about it.
oh no, yeah,
Uh,
no. Wait, is this when you're John Marston or when you're Arthur?
I think it's when you're Arth. It's been a long time, but I think you're Arthur.
Oh
Yes.
no. You see, yeah, because basically, yeah, I think because there's this track by D'Angelo called
Yes.
Unforgiven. I think it was
Amazing.
Arthur because it's like sort of midway-ish through the game, and you're riding through, and the track literally plays when
Yeah.
you're riding in the night all the way through. I was like, yeah,
Well,
no,
it
it
was
goes as well,
sunset
'cause
for me.
if you press
It
like
was,
the
it
big black box,
was-
you can go into the cinematic mode.
yeah. That was incredible. I mean, just to think of that was so creative. I thought from the developers. And it was sunset. For different people, they'll have different experiences depending on what time of day it is. But for me, it was like right before sunset. It was just so beautiful, everything, and the music was great.
See, that's what I said before, like, because I loved part one. I thought part one was amazing because I love westerns and so forth. But like, there are times when I would just stop and just
Yeah,
press pause and just take a photo. I was like, this game looks incredible. Like the detail they do in whether it's a farm, it's pieces of it's plains of grass, it's rocky areas. How well the design on this is ridiculous. It is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, it's similar to Breath of the Wild, man. You really need to play that game.
I no. I'm building. I told you I'm building up, man. I'm building onto that game, man.
Yeah.
I'm building onto that game. I'm building onto that game.
Yeah.
Actually, this is an interesting comment here. So movie writers seem to plan out the story arc, and most game writers have the story go all over the place, and they're trying to tell the story in at the end. See, this is the difference. See, it depends on the game. This is why I said, like, look, I say to you guys that play Legacy of Kain Soul River 1 and 2, because the Legacy of Kain Soul River 1 and 2, that's a specific narrative. So it isn't like an open world game. It's a game where they're telling a very specific story and you have to go on a very specific path in the story. But for something like a Red Dead Redemption, which is about having loads of missions and it's an open world game, you have to have several bits of storylines. So it is hard to, because again, what I was asking Daniel, like, so I said before, I don't know whether you agree. I don't want a movie adaptation of Red Dead Redemption. Like, because the beauty of the game is you interacting with it. I don't think that the story is strong enough to warrant a film where all I do with the film is just watch. Like, what makes it that's extra good is that we are really controlling Arthur and we're really in that shootout and so forth. So it heightens our investment in the story and the characters because we are interacting with it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, the way video games are going right now, they're almost like movies, especially Red Dead Redemption. I think a lot the process of making that game was very similar to how they made movies, in terms of the acting and the writing and everything. So I think if you're going to recreate that and try to film it, maybe it ruins it a little bit because it's already done. I think the developers definitely wanted, or the story writers definitely wanted people to play the game and experience it how it was supposed to be experienced. And I think if you create a video game out of the game, yeah, I think it would just ruin it a little bit for me. But yeah, it's a good game. Everyone should play it.
So can you remember part 1?
I mean, I played it many years ago, but some bits of it, yes. Some bits of it, yes.
Yeah, no, because I want to say, because see, many people, because I think it was even more that said, see, for me, I actually I'm trying to get it to. I actually prefer part 1 to part 2. Now,
yeah.
By that I mean, let me just say. So see, by that I mean technically, of course, part 2 is better, but you see that ending just blew my mind. The part 1 end, as I said, I've never experienced that in a video game, where the main character I've been playing with for 95% of the game gets killed, and then I now have to control a different character to now avenge the death of that character. I've never had that in a video game, and just especially because of what you went through, you're like, oh wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Oh, and I think, you see, for me, this is sort of my little critique story-wise. You see, I think in part 2 it got a bit melodramatic, and it got a little bit too preachy, which is how you know that, okay, these guys, I don't know how good, I don't know whether they are that, I mean, because they're not, they're not professional writers, they're just game writers. So there are times where, okay, you're going a bit preachy and just talking, but the story was not really as focused and as concise as part 1. Machine.
Yeah, yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can hear too. So again, give us your general thoughts.
My general verdict. I have to be honest with you, man. And
you're always honest, bro. You're always honest.
I'm always honest. Yeah. Well, I finished neither of the games, but for me, even though these days it's increasingly hard for me to devote enough time to a video game, especially an open world, sprawling video game, the likes of which Rockstar usually do. But I played enough of one for it to shoot right up to my top 10 video games of all time. I didn't have to finish it. There's some games that you don't have to finish. You dive deep into them. You dive into them deep enough that you realize, all right, now I understand exactly what this game's about. And yeah, it was enough for me to understand it was a masterpiece of gaming in many respects. The second one tries to emulate. I think Rockstar has been going on a downhill. On a curve in general in terms of the quality of their games, and I don't think Red Dead Redemption 2 is an exception. But the reason why I liked 1 so much more than 2 is one thing that's crucial for me, and that everybody sort of these days in modern gaming sort of doesn't give much importance to, and I think is absolutely a pillar of gaming, is the controls. The controls of the first one are so much tighter, so much more responsive.
I'm so happy I'm not the only one. I'm so happy I'm not the only one. I was going to say, like, is it me, or are these controls in part 2 just trying to be a bit too realistic and a bit too sophisticated? I was sorry, trying to ride my horse in Saint Denis was like, bro, what the heck is happening? But yeah.
No, yeah, first of all, they put way too many things. It's too many context-based situations where, like, you hit a button, but there's like 7 different contexts for that button. Depending on what you're doing. So that's never good. And then, like, the way that the camera moves, and it just doesn't feel as responsive, nowhere near as responsive as the first one. And people forget that gaming is a tactile medium. It's an interactive medium and a tactile one. And if you don't get the controls right, like so many games these days don't, then for me, I'm already switched off. It's like it's one of the pillars of gaming isn't.
Gameplay is more important than graphics. Graphics is great, but
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Like Tetris, the graphics in Tetris are like flipping 1D, but it has the best gameplay of all time. So if the gameplay isn't good, the graphics can be superb. If the gameplay is trash, game is trash.
Completely with you.
Sorry, you.
Yeah, but this to say that there's so many games out there today that get the get rated as masterpieces and stuff, like these what are the Witcher games? The Witcher games, the graphics are amazing. It looks like, in every other respect, it looks like very, very competent games, very slick, very well written, good, amazing world, richly thought and developed. But then the controls are just starting up the stuff.
I don't know about that. I actually like the controls in Witcher 3. At the beginning, at the first time I played it, I remember telling people that I hated the game and I hated the controls, and I was never going to play it because of that. But the second time I played it, I remember I got really into it, and I think the more you play it, because it's so different from every type of game and every control.
Like I've always said, like I will say this right now, and best gameplay controls in terms of just smoothness of controls, Zelda. Any Zelda game I've played, the gameplay is.
But you don't have to Zelda, of course, is amazing. All those games from the 16-bit era control way better than the stuff that you're seeing these days. 99% of the stuff that you're seeing these days. I actually played this retro game the other day. It was available on Xbox Live or something. It's called The Messenger, and it's like a retro arcade game. Yeah. That's inspired by the old Ninja Gaiden games that would kick any gamer's ass these days. People think that what's the Dark Souls or whatever. You think that's hard? Just pick up like a random NES game. To understand what difficult is. Anyway, Ninja Gaiden, which if you were around for the NES system as I was, I'm revealing my age, were like extremely difficult games, but the controls were as tight as can be. It was like butter smooth. And,
do you remember Strider on the Mega Drive?
Yes. Of course, I had it.
No, because obviously, like, it was my brothers that used to play these games, and I used to watch my brothers play them, and I was like, "This is basically." I just beg for you guys to just go onto YouTube and just look up Strider on the Mega Drive, and there's another game. I've forgotten. There's this Japanese game. I've forgotten what it's called. Like the name is too long. Well, I think basically if you type in like hardest boss ever, there's this Japanese boss that it's stupid. It's stupid. I like see, all you can see on the screen are just bullets.
I think that generation of video game designers were more interested in torturing youth.
Yeah. So basically, see, for me, I'm like, nah. It's game's enough fun. See, now this is interesting. I think what Mo says is interesting here. So he says, I feel like maybe playing Red Dead Redemption 1 first takes away from the experience of Red Dead Redemption 2, because so many elements that were mind-blowing in 1 are less so in 2. Perfectly said. Because that is why I think that in part 2, they should have tried to come up with something a bit more imaginative and a bit more new. Because the key thing is, like, again, we just mentioned it, when you went to Mexico, that just changed the whole dynamic of the whole game. But when you went to Guama, it just didn't seem as dynamic or as interesting narratively as when it was done in part 1. You just felt like, oh yeah, you're just copying the story beats in part 1, and the main thing was the whole epilogue thing. I was like, oh. You see, because again, this is the beauty, and I think which is what most of this is so true. In part 1, when you had the epilogue, you didn't know what was going to happen. You were just controlling the older Jack Marston, and you're okay. So I was like, okay, I'm controlling him. Am I going to find the guy? What am I doing? Nothing was said about what he was going to do. Then it just got developed about how he got friendly, and then he then found the guy who killed his dad. But so when you now have the epilogue in part 2, you knew they were going to copy what they did in part 1. You knew that they were going to go the same way. So it's like that's just it's almost the cost of the part. So I wasn't really surprised by anything that they did in part 2, even if it was cool though. So I mean,
there's also this thing which to me part 2 failed to do, and I think that I mentioned this in the chat. For me, like the strong suit of Rockstar in terms of storytelling is the humor and and the satire that they do. These are satirical worlds that they put together. Even in from Grand Theft Auto to the original Red Dead Redemption.
They're very good with humor. They're amazing. They're not good with drama, because again, even wait, before you land, see, this is the key thing. This is why I just said that people need to understand this. These, and I'm sure you must know, obviously working in the film industry, these video game guys, they're not professional writers. They're not professional writers. Now, what you now know is that, okay, they obviously have a good sense of humor, a really interesting sense of humor, but they're not actually good quality writers. So,
they're also working with a completely different format than what screenwriters, for instance, are. It's just a completely different format. So you can find some great writers, but and great writing in gaming. It's very rare. But I
think, as I said before, I said, like, Soul River is very key. But see, but I think, because I know where you were going to, is part 1 knew exactly what it was. We're a Western, we're gritty, we're grimy, we're just trying to tell you about how harsh and how edgy this Western world is. We're going to throw in some edgy humor as well. Keep it simple, keep it straight. So the story
it was satirical.
See, the issue in part 2 was they were trying to be far too melodramatic, far too much, too many speed, and it was like, bro, it's almost like they were aware of the popularity of part 1 and they just tried to go overboard with the story. But carry on.
I just felt like they started taking themselves too seriously with part 2 and try to make the story too nuanced and textured, and started fashioning themselves as like important storytellers or with something to say. And the first one was more like a fun romp with that focus more on what Rockstar can deliver so well and execute so well, which is the satirical element. It is a Western world. It gives you the opportunity to delve into this open world Western setting, which is unique and novel and was done so well. But the characters that you see, they're all stereotypes. You got the moonshine guzzling redneck. Hey, Mister. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You have these really larger than life characters. You have the guy that sells you what do you call like the guys that go around in wagons selling like potions and stuff, and they're like big con artists.
Yeah. Well, wait, shysters.
Yeah, shysters. You have like the shyster that, but there's a name. There's a specific name for it. You have that guy. You have all these different dudes are stereotypes.
No. But you know what I said? Because I want to bring Daniel into this. Is that I felt that the characters were really good. It's like, for me, if I just think about because for me, you see, I didn't actually like the Arthur character personally. He was very well done in terms of his graphics, the face, and the voice acting, but I just didn't like him. My favorite character was Dutch and Uncle. Dutch, actually, no. Yeah, probably Dutch, Uncle, and strangely Micah, because Micah just seemed very well raised. But I just think that Dutch seemed very realistic. He seemed very, very realistic. Just the way he was done, it seemed very realistic. So for you, Daniel, who were like your favorite characters? Actually, so sorry, but before I come, let me just say this. So Sadie and Charles need to be talked about loyalty. I didn't like Sadie. I found her annoying. Charles, I found boring. Even if they were both very loyal, super loyal, they were loyal, but again, I just found their characters boring. So where are you, Daniel? Who were your favorite characters?
I've got to disagree with you, man. I really liked Arthur Morgan, and I really liked Hosea as well. Hosea really stood out to me.
Hosea was very good. I forgot about it. Hosea was really good. Yeah, he was really good.
I think it depends on where you lead your story to. Arthur Morgan, I don't know. I think there's different endings, but my ending, he got killed on the mountain.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if you got that ending.
Yeah,
and that was very I loved that ending because throughout the story, Arthur Morgan had just he'd basically been completely violent and horrible for a long part of his journey until basically I think there's a moment where he takes the business guy that he had in his what was it, in like his camp, and he just chucks him out. He throws him out and he tells him to leave. I don't know if you got that bit, but I thought that was great. And then since then, he's just tried to help everyone around him and people he cared about. And I just thought that he was really, as a character, I'm guessing different people had different experiences, but from what I saw, it was very, very well built character, and his death was amazing. But it was a really well done story.
Yeah, see, for me, the thing about death is that I saw his death coming. So because it was so telegraphed, it didn't have him. See, for me with Marston, his death was shocking because you'd never think that they would kill a character that you're controlling, and it just came out of nowhere because you had finished everything, you lived with the family and everything, and just got ambushed and they just got him. I was like, oh, damn. So that for me was much, which is why the Red Dead Redemption for me is a classic. Because of that ending, because see, Red Dead Redemption 1 will stay with me a lot more than Part 2.
I think a lot of people will remember Part 2 more because, well, I guess a lot of people haven't played Part 1, but if you played Part 2 first, I mean, I don't know, but I think most games don't have this. I mean, most games don't have the main character die right at the end and you play as somebody else. So I think most people probably wouldn't have expected Arthur Morgan to die just because of how violent the game is and how many times he gets shot.
No, hold on. Can I ask you something? So wait a minute. So Arthur Morgan dies. Whoop-de-doo. That's not that shocking to me. But you play as somebody else after that. That's shocking.
Yeah,
you do. Yeah. You play
Oh,
as
really? Wow.
somebody else
I
in
know.
his camp.
You play as who?
You play as somebody else in his camp, so you play as the protagonist of the first game.
Yeah. So because obviously part is obviously a prequel
Oh,
of the
that's so
first
funny,
game.
man. That's good. That's
So,
nice. That's ingenious.
no, but see, that was the point I was making. That was such a crazy thing to happen in the first game that it didn't have the same impact in the second game. Because in the first game, your main character dies and you now control your son in the epilogue. And your son then hunts down his father's killer and kills him. So you're like, wow, I've never experienced that kind of narrative in a game. I would just say, guys, I'm begging you guys, I'm begging you. Everyone in the live chat here, I am begging you, dust off your PS1. Dust off your PS1 and play Legacy of Kain, Soul River 1 and Soul River 2. because I don't want to say anything too much. What you experience in that game will blow your effing mind. It will blow your freaking mind.
I will do that, but nothing touches a game called Knights of the Old Republic, the original one.
That's a good game.
But nothing touches the plot twist in that game.
Okay, wait. Don't see. For me, I stopped playing the game because the controls annoyed me. But I may return back to that game though.
Do it. It's your duty. It's your duty as a gamer, man.
If memory serves me correctly, I think the people who wrote Mass Effect wrote Knights of the Old Republic.
Some people.
I think
it was done by the same developer.
Isn't that BioWare?
It is BioWare, yeah.
Yes, yes.
But I would say, can I tell you something? KOTOR is about 15,000 times better than Mass Effect for me.
No. See, I told you, I'm going to do a separate stream on Mass Effect. The thing about Mass Effect is, I don't care what anyone says, Half-Hope Shepard is the greatest video game hero of all time. Okay? Half-Hope Shepard, the main character in Mass Effect, yes, the guy, because you can customize the guy, he's the greatest main guy of all time. So, KOTOR does not have that. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have that. But, so just back to this whole thing that, you see, my thing about it is, and where I wanted to go to is, people always say, man, why is it so hard to make a good film of a video game? Because Hollywood are stupid. So you see, Hollywood will now look at, because 100%, 1000% Hollywood are trying to make a film of Red Dead Redemption facts. 100%. They're trying to do that right now. And I think they were even thinking about Brad Pitt to be one of the characters. But my thing about it is that it will never work. Because let's keep it real. The stories in this game aren't great. The experience is amazing. The stories aren't great. Same thing with Uncharted. Uncharted is a poor man's Indiana Jones. The stories aren't great, but the gameplay is outstanding. So the experience is amazing.
Can I ask you something, HH?
Go for it.
Can you name me, give me like a list of movies that are similar to Indiana Jones, but that are better than Uncharted? You won't have any. Yeah. And there was plenty of Indiana Jones spoofs.
What's the name of The Mummy?
Oh, The Mummy is one of them. Yeah, or anything Jack Ryder takes on, whatever. Like,
what's it called? National Treasure with Nick Cage.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. The best out of all of them for me is Uncharted. The Uncharted series trumps any of those wannabe Indiana Jones movies. Obviously not Indiana Jones itself, because that's an all-time classic, and that's what is inspiring Uncharted in the first place. But it's as good as it gets.
No. But my question to both of you is: would you want to just watch, not play, not interact, just watch a film of Uncharted?
It's done well. I'd want to watch anything. There's nothing that impedes. There's nothing that's inherently impossible about adapting a video game to the movies and to do it in an interesting way. And You can
No, no,
ostensibly have, it's just a premise. Listen, you're working off a basic premise. The reason why they haven't done it right, except for maybe Sonic, which I enjoyed, Sonic the Hedgehog. The reason why they failed to do it right is because of idiot producers in Hollywood that don't respect the source material and
That's
can't
true.
put a proper movie together, man. You know?
No, because see, my thing about it is that my belief is you playing a game heightens the story and makes the story better than it actually truly is. Because
It makes you more invested in the story. I agree with you, but
Yeah.
but also it has more time to flesh out. It asks for more of your time, much more of your time
no,
than a movie.
because again, it's like the reason why so many people cared about Arthur. Because obviously, I still sort of like had a care about Arthur and everything. The reason why you care about him is because you've been through so much with him. You
As him,
doing those
you are him.
missions.
Basically, you are him. It's like you embody the character.
Yeah.
When you're
You
playing
are
the
the character. And I think that's why, like something like a Skyrim or a Mass Effect, where you can actually customize your character, takes it to the next level. Because now it's like, oh no, I've now made him look specifically how I'd want this main hero to look like. So now you're like, oh wow, now I can really invest in this dude. But when you watch,
Listen, I can't, HH, I can't be on board with you with the whole thing that video games can't have a proper story. For me, video games are peak art form. It's the most perfect art form that you can get. It used to be painting back in the day, and then it became movies or whatever, and now it's video games. And
no. But see, we are building up. Do you know what we are building up to? Virtual reality.
Exactly.
That will pretty much be the end game. Because basically video games is, I just think, one step away from virtual reality where you are literally in this world that you're in. But I agree with you. That's really like the experience that you have of a GTA, a Mass Effect, people have said like a Last of Us and so forth, is far different than watching a movie. Because when you're watching a movie, like you're sitting down and you're just there. But it's one thing where, oh no, I actually did that. I actually saved that person. I actually ran through that.
Movies are a passive form of entertainment, and video games are much more. Well, first of all, they're interactive, and by virtue of being interactive, they're more. What do you call it when you step in within the world and immersive?
Immersive.
The problem with the video game movies is the people who make them, they have the wrong reasons to make those movies. Because obviously they see the video games, see how popular they are, and then they try to capitalize on it. But that's not the reason you make these video game movies. And so
basically, Daniel,
you get these idiots, man. You get these idiots. Seriously, I watched the Assassin's Creed film, and I was so excited for that movie because it's had so much potential. And they just ruined it completely because the people making the movie had no idea what to do with it.
But this is what people have to understand about video game. You hit the nail fully on the head. What they see is an inbuilt audience and a name and a brand IP. So in their mind is, we already have an inbuilt audience. Let's just hit the beats of what makes this game popular and let's turn it into a film.
You're absolutely right.
Instead, what they should be doing is treating this like a book and adapting a book. Like when Tarantino did Jackie Brown, he adapted it. So he didn't do it like he took the source, but he then gave it his own juice and his own personal makeover. So what you should be doing is you take the very basic and essence of this and you now adapt it to a film format and how it works as a film, because the narrative of a film is totally different from a narrative of a video game, because the narrative of a video game is based upon missions, gameplay, things you have to do, and things to keep you entertained, and so forth within the confines of the video game. For a movie, it's all narrative. There's not shows that missions, point A to point B. No, it's about a specific narrative. So if you're making a film of an Assassin's Creed, you have to approach it in a totally different sense. And you see, the thing about it is, you see, some games, it's almost like, for instance, Uncharted. Personally, for me, see, this is just me. I don't want to watch an Uncharted film. Now, let's say they just make something like, just think of an amazing story or so forth, and okay, fine. But when I'm playing Uncharted, I don't really give a damn what's happening to the character or the plot. I'm playing it because this gameplay is flipping outstanding, and some of the situations they're in is stupid. Some of the situations you're in, like, this is conceptually, this is amazing. It is amazing conceptually. So that is my love for that. But then when you look at something like, you see something like a Mass Effect, you can see how you can make it from that. The best thing is Halo 1. Halo is begging to be made into an amazing sci-fi film because you have the basic story, the basic plot, the characters, both the heroic characters and the villains as well. You have the ships, you have the planets, you have the lore, you have the world, you have the specific rules, how things work. It's all there for someone to adapt it.
Yes, but how often have we said that? How often have we said that, and then they trample all over the freaking potential of the video? You know, you look at Doom. Doom had all that, and they adapted that into a movie, and it was like some B rate direct to video shock.
No. But see, Machine, my thing though is that who do they get to make these films? You see, for me, wait. You see, if I'm thinking of a Halo film, there's only one name, James Cameron. That's James Cameron is Halo. Like,
yes, you have to get the biggest guy in.
It's cost-rated director to do Halo. I'm like, no, I'm out. All right.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The problem is that again, it's not the problem isn't inherently in the actual source material of the video games in question. The problem is that there's no respect for them, and that it's a generational thing, because the people that are pulling the strings, the Hollywood suits, the executives, the studio heads, they didn't grow up playing video games, most of them, so it's like, what is this thing kids are into now?
Yeah, it's still kids. Kids.
Just the kids are into this,
No, because that was that was talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, when I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm like, yeah, okay, so some bits may be a bit cheesy here and there, but like, look at how far video games have gotten. Because the amounts of sophisticated scenarios they put you in this, you're like, man, like, you can't view this as kid stuff anymore, which is what I told you, like, gaming has now taken on to that next level. Have you guys played Heavy Rain?
Yes, I played a little bit, but I didn't really get into it that much. But I definitely know what it is now.
Yeah, Heavy Rain is, again, it's a very conceptual game. Very conceptual, where it's all about narrative. And you see, those are the kind of games that I really love. Like, you see, Machine, you would love Heavy Rain.
You should play Firewatch.
Play what game?
Firewatch.
Firewatch. Why? What is that about?
It's one of the. It's a great experience, man. I don't want to spoil it for you. Just it's a short game, but it's very good. It's very good.
Oh wow!
Although the ending might piss you off. The ending might get you a bit annoyed, but you'll enjoy it.
Oh, so is it like an indie game?
All it is imagine you were somebody who worked as a Firewatch. You worked at a Firewatch and you just looked over for fires, basically. That's all you did. But it's a story game, so it's not like a survival game or whatever. Just play it.
No, for sure. Actually, this is sort of like a convo that we're having. We're going to maybe expand this. I'll ask you two questions then. Best console you've ever played, as in the console that you used to do the most, and best game you've ever played.
Oh, okay, this is easy. Okay, so the first one, the best console, is probably very controversial because it's the Nintendo Switch. And the reason for that is
Wait. That's not controversial, bro. Do you know the amounts of
Yo,
machine?
hey, should I turn on my cam as well?
I'm not saying why are you always drinking wine? No. Dan.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Do you know the amounts of people that have told me that this Nintendo Switch is one of the craziest things they've ever had? And my brothers, these are my older brothers who literally so they got me into gaming, and my brothers have owned pretty much every gaming console ever, and they've said that, bro, this Nintendo Switch is next level. And people have said, bro, Breath of the Wild is one of the craziest games you've ever played. So I'm like, just that when I have this, when I have the cash and money, of course I'm getting a Switch. Facts.
Mm-hmm. So the reason I like it so much, the reason I like the Switch so much, see, now that we're getting into a new era, you're definitely seeing what Nintendo are lacking in, and like when it comes to third-party games, Nintendo doesn't have those big titles like GTA or whatever. But I don't, because I enjoy those games a lot. But what I enjoy a lot more recently has been the indie games and the smaller companies making those games. And there's only one main console for those indie games, and that is the Switch. They're in a completely different market, just dedicated for those indie developers. And some of those games are really underrated. Like Hollow Knight is amazing. You should play Celeste, such a great game. Stardew Valley.
It's true, but also like in terms of AAA games, Nintendo happen to have the biggest AAA games of them all.
And the most fun games. People don't think about that. I mean, their games are literally made to have fun. Some other games, they focus more on graphics and story, but Nintendo's games are just the controls are there for you to play it and for you to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
no. Like I've already said that in terms of gameplay, there is no game in history that has better gameplay than Zelda. Like the gameplay of Zelda is flipping outstanding because it's so easy to play. But
you got the Mario.
What's your top game?
My top game is by far Portal 2. Okay, and let me tell you why. This game, a lot of people they don't enjoy it.
Portal 1, not Part 2.
Yeah, so Portal 2, if you haven't played it, it's a must play. And I know a lot of people out there, maybe they don't see it as highly as I do, but this game changed me as a person. Because I remember playing this when I was younger, and man, it really changed me. And not just that, but there's so many details to that game, and such a beautiful.
What is it? What's the name of it?
Sorry?
Polo 2.
Portal.
Sorry, my accent is weird, man.
Sorry. No, it's okay, man.
My accent is crazy, man. But yeah, that game is incredible. I mean, I'm not sure we're gonna do this, but if we do, I don't want to talk too much about the characters in that game, but there's some amazing characters. So if we ever do a top 10 video game characters,
wait,
watch out. Characters are in there.
Steven Merchant voice one of the characters?
He does. Probably the best thing he's ever done, to be honest. I mean, I like The Office and extras, but come on, man, Portal 2. And yeah, you should definitely play it. It's a puzzle game, but
so isn't it? It's sort of like problem solving, and it's like you basically having to solve this kind of very kind of like.
Yes, it felt very for me.
It's a puzzle.
The Portal series.
Definitely, yeah, it's a puzzle game, but it has an overall
story
to it, and it's very, very good. Especially if you read into the actual story later on when you finish the game. there's so many little hints about a larger story that a lot of people don't know about. So if anyone who's played it knows about Ratman, then you would know what I'm talking about.
No, you see, nothing is like, let me be real with you, and some people will hate me for this. I'm probably more interested and invested to play a game like a Portal than I am of like a God of War. Because you see, the thing with God of War is like, look, I've been playing it and so forth. Amazing graphics. Kratos is the best, is the most graphically advanced character I've ever seen in my life. In terms of graphics, Kratos, it's stupid. But in terms of just the mechanics of the gameplay, it's basically, it's very gamey. I told you, I'm not like a gamer. I want my video games to do something artistically different, which was my biggest issue with Assassin's Creed. Like Assassin's Creed, gameplay outstanding, graphics outstanding, but it was very repetitive, and I hate the repetition of grind in video games, which is why I love stuff like a Mass Effect, GTA, Red Dead Redemption, where like there's freedom and imagination to the games.
But Portal 2 is very gamey in the sense that Portal 2 or just the Portal series in general, it seems almost like Portal, the original one, was a development test to mess around with perspective and to do this new thing that was sort of cropping up in gaming at the time, which was you step into this one portal here and you show up in another one. That was being done in Turok. I don't know if you remember Turok.
Oh my God, Turok! Oh my God, that is going back.
Yeah, but that was being done before Portal, so like they just refined something that was already being experimented with, and also Super Mario Galaxy took that.
Bro, that was a fun game, man.
But that's a very that to me is an amazing way of doing that, of playing with perspective constantly and doing so in novel ways and keeping it fresh throughout the whole gameplay experience. Portal to me felt a little sterile, felt a little artificial in the sense that felt a little gamey. Felt like it was. I could see the hands of the developers trying to keep it interesting for me. It didn't feel as mechanically paced as some of the other as Super Mario Galaxy, for instance.
Just quickly, just off topic. I don't want to just say that because you just reminded me of a game. This game, Azuric, this has to rank as one of the worst games of all time.
I was about to say because nobody's ever heard of this.
Yeah, no, and for good reason. For good reason. See, this showed you how crucial Halo was for Xbox, because that first Xbox had some of the most horrendous, horrible games of all time, and this game, Azuric: The Rise of Parathia, flipping horrendous game. Just so I just remember that. Oh yeah, this because trust me, I have played some poor games, man. There have been some horrible games. I know what. Let me ask you guys this: what's worse, playing a horrible game or watching a horrible film?
Horrible game, man. Takes too much of my time. Finish a movie in a couple of hours.
I'll say something. Can I say something?
Go for it.
It's very rare that I'm in a position where I'm playing a horrible game and I don't just set the controller down and go like, fuck this shit. But with movies,
you can leave. Why can't you leave a movie? Just say, look, I'm out.
Not in social situations where you're with other people, and that's happened to me often.
That happened to me with Pearl Harbor.
With Pearl Harbor, man, I wish I would have left. I would have left 15 minutes in Pearl Harbor, but I would have. Actually, I never even entered the movie theater after watching the trailer, which is probably good for me. But think about going in a group with friends and stuff, and then you're watching the latest Godzilla movie, and you want to get the hell out of there, and you can't. So it's happened often to me with films, and with video games, not so often.
Okay, sure. Let me ask you guys this. Let me even go towards because we're not going into the whole gaming thing. Because again, just looking at Red Dead Redemption 2 and everything, has gaming or the quality of gaming declined, or is that a myth? Because again, look, I looked at the PlayStation showcase, the Xbox showcase, and I was like, there's nothing here that is compelling me to get a PS5 or an Xbox fridge. So my question to you guys, who I'm coming first to Daniel, is has game, because remember a time when there were a lot of really good games coming out and you were really excited for E3, and at E3 you saw at least 2, 3, 4 really interesting games and you were counting down the months for that game's release. But so right now I'm like, a lot of these games, I'm like, I was seeing a game where like you're in a cartoon place. I'm like, what the F is going on? So do you think the quality of games has decreased, or now it's there's still quality games out there? It's still maintained. It's still maintaining its level.
So
Can I go?
Wait,
Oh yeah,
you wanna
no,
go
go ahead,
first?
man. Sorry, go.
okay, cool. So for me, it's a myth, because if we just look at the Game Awards over the last few years, you know, they have this big event called the Game Awards, and
Yeah.
they present all the best games of the years. And honestly, some of those games are incredible, and the way they can produce those games and the technology we have now to make those games, I mean, this is something completely new. And if you think of, maybe the problem is that the games that are coming out now are very different from the games maybe a few years ago, because games had to focus a lot more on storytelling, whereas now they can focus more on gameplay and graphics. And I don't think that takes away too much of the game. But if you want to look for great games in terms of storytelling, they're still out there. They're just not as in the public eye as some of those
You see,
bigger games.
that's
like,
what I'm going to see. My focus are on the AAA games, the games that are right in our face, the games that are right on the shelf, and the games that are promoted to us. Because again, the indie, I told you, like there's this indie game called Limbo, superb, absolutely superb, wonderful, wonderful game that I recommend to everyone. Limbo, it's like an Xbox marketplace game, but these games are not put out on the forefront. It's the Call of Duties. It's the freaking what's the name of that flipping? It's those kinds of games. So for AAA games, the top tier games, have they? Someone even said in the live chat, have they stagnated? Have they declined, or you still think that there are still quality AAA games out there?
I'll say this. Can I say this?
Go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I think unquestionably to me, the quality of video games has declined. It's changed. The landscape has changed dramatically. First of all, because development cycles have tightened, and there's no longer the culture of releasing games only when they're absolutely right and when they're ready for consumption. There's like you have a 2-year development cycle, and you either get it out or you get shit canned. And that's increasingly encroached upon the industry, unfortunately. And then there's this other thing called free-to-play, which is the scourge of video gaming to me.
Oh, so
And-
basically that's the whole online multiplayer thing.
But no, it's like all of a sudden, like instead of like making video games that are designed to make an individual's
Manipulate.
playing experience as good as possible, they're designed to like sell you, get you to make little microtransactions. But by selling you skins and stuff and like frugal, just really stupid.
So basically, Fortnite.
Yes, Fortnite basically, but I've never played Fortnite, but yes, Fortnite and Overwatch.
Oh, bro, I'm never playing Brick Knights, man. No, I'm cool.
But there's that. There's Overwatch. There's League of Legends. There's Dio. What's its face? I forget. But there's Hearthstone. A huge, the biggest games now seem to be free to play because you don't buy anything to play them. You don't pay anything to play them. But then they get they find other ways to like.
But see, you just mentioned that, and I think people have even mentioned this game in the live chats, Ghost of Tsushima, which is the samurai game that has just been released. Like for me, That is what I want my gaming experience to be.
Yeah.
Multiplayer is cool. You see, for me, whenever I play Halo Reach on multiplayer, I do it like if, let's say, I just need to just wheel out time. Let's say I'm waiting for an edit to happen or something. Okay, let me just play a few games here. Multiplayer is not an experience that stays with me, that I can now really get the best out of my creativity and my imagination. But something like Ghost of Tsushima, where it's like, I'm a huge fan of samurai Kurosawa films. Wow, so you can actually now experience what it's like to be a samurai in a Kurosawa kind of film. That's amazing, you know? But I was thinking, Jojo just said, stuff like Fortnite and so forth, it's just a money guzzling campaign. Which, honestly, my thing is about it is like, this is get your money how you get your money. You know, that's how they get the money. Cool, fine. You want to exploit kids and so forth. Cool, it's fine. It's just that let there be a variety. And I think, which is the point that Daniel made, is that there needs to be much more of a push of like, okay, cool. Here are your Fortnites. Here are your Call of Duties. But here are your Journeys, your Limbos, and your other kinds of indie games. Okay, these guys are actually still trying to do something creative, you know. So, but the issue is, I keep seeing this trash Fortnite being put in my face, and I'm like, wait, what's this crap? Or I keep seeing that trash FIFA 22 being shown in my face. I'm like, wait, what is this crap?
Yeah.
Actually, the entire series of FIFA for me is what is this crap? That's the great phenomenon that I'll never understand. When there's Pro Evolution, which is a materially, objectively, way better football game than FIFA.
100%.
And
But
somehow
they just don't have the licenses.
The licensing, man.
And somehow Electronic Arts managed to con the masses, probably by greasing some palms in the game critics industry, which is an industry of its own, you know, like your IGNs of the world and shit. They conned a bunch of people that all of a sudden, like, there was like a good 5-year window when people were saying, "Oh, FIFA's finally overtaken Pro Evo." That never happened. FIFA was always objectively, materially, a way worse football game than Pro Evo. Even in graphics, you know, like you would think that like they'd even get the graphics better because their budget is like what 10 times higher than Konami's, and they still can't do that right.
No. But see, what you need to understand about the whole FIFA Pro Evo thing is, don't underestimate the power of popularity and trends with the masses. I told you, most people are sheep. Most people are brainless. You know, that's just what it is. So if you're smart enough, you can fool 99% of people if you're smart enough.
Messi, Ronaldo.
What's that?
The Messi, Ronaldo being the greatest case of doing that.
No. You're not pulling me into that. Okay, you are not pulling me into that. But no. My thing though is that, okay, of course, Pro Evo is the better game, but FIFA has all the licenses. FIFA has all of the football stars backing it. All the football stars and the people who you follow play FIFA, do FIFA themed things. They have the marketing campaign, and once you have the marketing campaign and people are linked with it, and the stars are linked in with it, even if you know that what you're doing is, even if you know that the game that you're playing is an inferior product, because you're being told and you've been fooled that this is what you should be doing, cool. It's like, let's say, it's like, for instance, many people would say like, oh, the Samsung phone is actually better than the iPhone in terms of how it works and so forth. But the iPhone is more popular. So I'm getting the iPhone because that is the trendy phone. So people just care about, okay, what is the trend? What is the thing that I should be doing? Not what is actually the thing that is actually better. Is like, what should I be doing based on what everyone else is doing? And that's just how people can fool you. But you see, my thing here is this: is that, look, I think gaming is in a very weird place right now, because, and I think at the forefront of that is GTA 5, and the fact that these goofballs are about to bring out the same game on 3 different consoles, because multiplayer and online and microtransactions, that is what is going to kill the creativity of the gaming industry. See, the key thing is this: that multiplayer thing. It is a financial mofo, because, like, oh my god, they buy this for like $60, but no, from this one kid, we can get thousands from this one kid. Like, so Red said that he spent thousands on FIFA cards on FIFA. I was like, what?
Yes. That's absolutely crazy. And the thing is that it's so. The other thing is that it's so against the spirit of multiplayer, because you're trying to create when you have a multiplayer setting, you're trying to, ostensibly you're trying to make the rules equal to everyone, right? And once you infuse a multiplayer setting, once you apply the microtransactions element, then all of a sudden it becomes a pay to win scenario, where, like, you buy the best armor and you're better than the other guy. It's no longer about the you playing better than the other guy. It's just your wallet's bigger.
See, this is what I want to ask you, because this is something that I don't get. If you can spend money to get better armor or better equipment, then what's the point in playing the game?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny you're talking about this, man, because last year part of the course I was doing, I had to write a whole paper about this, about freemium basically, and what premium is, and basically pay to win and paying bits of small amounts of money in order to get small things back from the game, or and there's this whole way of manipulating the user of the game in order to get currency. It's really interesting. And I know everyone tries to hate on Rockstar on what they're doing with GTA 5 and all this, but I've got to be honest, as a company and what they're doing, if you're a shareholder, this is what you want to see. I mean, they're a great company for doing this. I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it when it comes to video games, man. I don't agree with it.
This is the beauty of the dilemma. And you've hit the right, because it's where you're looking at it from a business point of view. It's perfect. It's
amazing.
So because from a business point of view, you're like, wait a minute, why am I going to invest millions in a GTA 6 when right now all we have to do is spend a lot less just maintaining the server, and we're reaping in all these rewards and making money? So why are we doing this whole concept? But see, that's from a business point of view. But see, when I was growing up, gaming was about, before multiplayer, before DLC, gaming was about, I have this artistic idea, and I believe that this artistic, so my main thing is I have an artistic idea, and based on how good this artistic idea will be, I will get money from it. So you're looking at a Legacy of Kain Soul River, or like a Mass Effect, or like a Halo, or any of the, like a Zelda, or Wind Waker. I have a very unique artistic idea, and because the industry is based on people being interested in the art form, and the more imaginative the art form is, and how well it's executed, the more you will sell, because people will be like, look at all the reviews that's gone. And because video game is, as I said, the next level of entertainment, you will reap your rewards if your game is well made and it's imaginative, new, and takes things to the next level, because that's what we want as human beings. So you thought, but then once you now have the idea of money, and you now have shareholders, stakeholders, and so forth, then the creativity goes out the window, because it's like, okay, well, no. I know this is all cool, but this is a business. But see, Dan, this is the sick thing. The sick thing is this. GTA is one of the most popular series in the world. It's one of the most popular series in the world. And Rockstar are one of the most respected, best most popular, revered video game developers in the world. So my thing is, even if any GTA game you make, you will even if it's average, even if it's crap, you will still make a lot of money based on just your track record. So I was saying to myself that, you see, like, aren't you bored? Because I would think that as an artist needs to make art. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Here's the thing.
you see, like,
You're talking, dude.
you see, like an artist isn't like, okay, I've created this art, and somehow people keep rebuying this art and using this art, and like, oh, that's all cool. No. An artist is like, no, I have to make art. This is like my oxygen.
I know, dude. But I changed. Let me step in. Let me step in for a second. You're talking about multiple B's in this. You know what I mean? Billions and billions.
How do you mean?
Billions and billions of dollars that are being made. It's a massive industry that's overtaken Hollywood in terms of revenue.
Not just that.
And you see like these massive franchises like your Grand Theft Autos of the world, and there's very little space for the artiste. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying, but once the online component made its seeped into video games, then all of a sudden DLC came in.
You know what it was?
DLC gave way to microtransactions, and microtransactions gave way to
No. You know what it was?
It's. Wait, can I just say something? About the Rockstar thing? Look, it's more than that. I mean, we saw it with Fallout. I mean, as soon as they decide to make a new GTA game, there's no reason. If it's a bad game, if GTA 6 turns out it's a bad game and people don't enjoy it as much as GTA 5, there's no reason for you to buy GTA 7, right? They know now, whatever happens, if they release a GTA 6, everyone's going to buy it. Everyone's going to buy it, no matter what. No matter what you think of Rockstar, you'll buy GTA 6. Maybe when GTA 6 actually comes out and it's not that good, people might decide, maybe I won't buy GTA 7. Maybe I won't enjoy GTA 6. I mean, look at Fallout. I'm not sure I'm going to even buy the next Fallout because Fallout 76 came out and it was rubbish. Nobody enjoyed that game at all. So they had such a great game with Fallout 4 that came out. I mean, it wasn't as good as the other Fallouts, but it was still a really good game. And then they just destroyed the whole Fallout franchise with Fallout 76. So why would they risk it as a business? Why would they risk making a GTA 6? I mean, they probably are going to make it, but they'll much rather try to extend the amount of money GTA 5 can make first, and therefore lower the risk of making it.
It's not about risk.
See, Daniel, in response to that, see, that's why I go to my thing of it's about who you are as a person. Because this shows to you who the real artists are and who the so-called fake artists are. The real artists are, I have to make art. I just have to. Like, it's how I operate. The fake artists are, oh yeah, I'm talented at this, but I want to make money. And I want to have holidays. I want to go to clubs, big cars, big houses and everything. And just have like live a real lavish life. Those are fake artists where like if I can just use my art to live this lavish life is cool. But the real artists are, it doesn't matter how much money you give me, like even if I'm a billionaire, I need to be making this art. I just have to. So that's where the indie guys come into it. And that's where the Nintendo guys come into it, because the Nintendo guys and the indie guys are like, no, I have to keep making this art because it's
or you have to stop making it, even though the corporate pressure is for you to continue making it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to know when to pull the plug and say, you know what, this story, I've said everything that needs to be said. This franchise doesn't need to exist anymore, and it's time to pull the plug. I'll give you an example of somebody that did that, which is a very rare case of the artist, which is Bill Watterson. the creator of Calvin and Hobbes, which was this very famous comic book strip that is very beloved and respected. For me, one of the greatest of all time. And he always refused to sell his property to the corporate big dogs that wanted to create merchandise out of his very popular comic book strip series. You know, he didn't want any Calvin and Hobbes T-shirts. He never gave in. And he went to the grave, well, not to the grave, but to relative obscurity. You know, he just retired and nobody knows where he is. And he said, no, I'm never going to sell out my property, and I'm going to end it the way I want to end it. And there's never going to be any other Calvin and Hobbes strips. That's a very rare case of artistic integrity.
Oh, no,
You don't see that often.
Oh, no, like that is extremely rare. So, which is why it's unfortunate, because see, the real artists are the -1%. And those guys are like unicorns. But don't just look at this comments real quick. And this is even what I referred to when I did my GTA vid. Is it the company's fault or the consumers? It's the consumers. 100%.
Yeah.
If the if people don't buy GTA 5 on the PS5, they don't go online, you will be seeing GTA 6. 100%. You know, if the people just said, you know what, now, okay, you guys, now I'm cool, I'm not buying it, and then it's track cards, I'm not making any of the microtransactions, I'm not doing any of that stuff. But like, business is supply and demand. That's how business. See, for a business, that's what even just me doing some of my business studies and so forth, the customer is king. You give the consumer what they want. Once you've realized what the consumer wants, you keep giving it to them. You keep giving it to them, and you keep giving it to them. You are led by your consumer. You know, you don't give your consumer what they don't want. You give them what they want. When you find out what they want, you keep giving that to them, or you try and improve that. But you ensure that the consumer is happy, because the customer is king. That is how businesses work. Is that the customer is king? Is about serving. It's like, see, the difficulty of business is knowing what your customer wants. That's the difficulty. Once you now find out what they want, which is the difficulty, find out what your consumer wants, you give it to them. You'll give it to them. Once your consumer says, no, I don't want that, I'm not going to buy that, your business fails. The business only exists. It only functions based on the demand from the consumer, and you supplying them, supply and demand.
But how much do you want to bet that Rockstar would have pulled the plug on the GTA series after San Andreas? I bet you they would have. You know, it's like it's whatever. Right. You know, everybody that's involved, all the developers, they feel boxed into this to this concept. They probably want to try something different and let their artistic spirit roam free. But they know that they have to churn out the next GTA, And by the way, I disagree with my fellow guest that there's pressure, that there's a risk involved with releasing GTA 6. There's zero risk. GTA 6 could be a piece of shit wrapped in tinfoil, and people would still buy it in droves. It's the most assured bet out there. It's going to sell like hotcakes regardless of the quality.
Yeah, of course. There's no risk in GTA 6.
The GTA series is only going to not sell after 3 or 4 or 5 duds, where people finally begin to catch on and go, "Wait a minute, this used to be a great series, now no longer."
The risk is when releasing the next game after GTA 6, depending on whether GTA 6 does well or not. That was what I was trying to say. But not just that. I mean, spending all this time with GTA 5 will also give them a chance to, if they are developing GTA 6, which I think they are, will give them a chance to make it as good as possible, which is ultimately very good for us. But we'll just have to wait. We'll have to wait until they release it.
No. But my thing though is, I just think it just shows you where gaming is at now, because it's actually like, I think, because this is the question that I asked the dudes earlier on in the stream that if you had to choose what gaming experience would you have, single player or multiplayer, I've always said single player. I prefer the more intimate experience of a single player narrative driven game over multiplayer. Multiplayer is cool, but if I had to choose one, it's single player. But what has now been, I think, a hamper in the creativity and imagination of the gaming industry for AAA games is the internet, is multiplayer. Like the internet has actually hampered creativity in the gaming industry because that has gave birth to DLC and has given birth to multiplayer and microtransactions. Because back in the day, like as Machine was saying, Mega Drive, SNES, bro, you get that cartridge and that's it.
Dude, but you know what, man? I was fascinated with World of Warcraft for a period of time. For a long time, when it was a phenomenon, I would look at it and I was like, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen," because I would see all these numbers floating up, and it just seemed a very geeky sort of pursuit, right? Not my kind of game at all. But then I played it. And then I saw all the different expansions and how the development philosophy changed over the years, right? And that's a fascinating journey, and it really speaks to the decline of the video game industry and the decline of culture in general, really. Because I'll give you an example with with World of Warcraft, the initial philosophy was that you had a set amount of content, right? You had this massive sprawling world, and you put all these millions of players playing in this world, and you let them roam free, right? But there was these things called dungeons, and above that, raids, which were pieces of content that were designed to do in groups because they were too difficult to tackle individually. And initially, Blizzard, the developers of the game, they didn't give a shit if players ever saw the content or not. If the players that did see the content and that finished it, they would reap the rewards, right? They would get the best armor. They would go and flex that armor to the rest of the players in that virtual world, and they would feel special, right? And this was and that's what made this virtual world captivating. But then slowly over time and across each successive expansion, they started buckling to the vocal minority in the forums that said, why are we, I don't have time to play this game for like 17 hours a day. Why am I not getting all the goodies and stuff, and I never got to see the inside of Icewind, whatever, like this really cool, like.
See, it's so beautiful you say that, because in a game, whenever you see how it should work, is when you see a guy with amazing armor, you're like, bro, that guy's damn good. First of all, that guy has dedicated hundreds of hours, and that guy is bloody good. So you're like, whoa. But now you're like, this is maybe just some squirmy. So it's probably some squirmy 4-year-old loser.
But it gets worse than this. Dude, it gets worse than this. All right, so this was an amazing game, World of Warcraft, because of what I laid out previously. Went back when they, did it right, when it was like a meritocracy. But not only did they buckle to the vocal minority, they introduced microtransactions into the game, right?
I didn't know.
So now all of a sudden, like, the piece of armor means nothing. It's just how big your wallet is. So you go to the store and you buy the cool looking armor and the cool looking mount, like the horse that nobody else could get. That used to be like, wow, man, you can travel across the world like 3 times faster than I can on this cool ass looking steed. where'd you get that horse? Well, I defeated this enemy, and you only get a 5% chance of it dropping, but I did it, and all of a sudden there was a community that was built out of this meritocratic sort of virtual dynamic that they established, and that's all been wiped off of the market.
So, Alex says, the average consumer is a sheep. So if you give them an incentive to progress in a game through a paywall, they will take it. You can't control the casuals. Now, let me respond by saying this. I'm a casual gamer. 100%. I am not a hardcore gamer. I'm not an intense gamer. I will definitely call myself a casual gamer. But my personality is I want to do things properly. And if I can't, I can't. It is what it is. But my thing is, this isn't a thing of casual gamers. I think it's much more about personalities and particular kinds of people. That's what it's about. It's about personalities and particular kinds of people. So, okay. Oh yeah. Machine Armor. Peace out, bro. Peace out. I think Machine Hansen has a head to bed. So, it's about particular kinds of people. And particular kinds of people are, bro, I will, because I want this satisfaction. What do I need to pay to gain this satisfaction? So, like as Machine says, no. How this works is, no, it's about meritocracy. You need to do these things. But they say, no. How much do I need to pay you to get this? So now, when I'm thinking about business, I said, wait a minute. People are actually going to pay to gain the stuff? Okay, cool. There you go. This is how much you pay. Oh, wow. Many people are reaching this. And that's how your business works. So it's about people, Daniel, am I right, wrong with that? What's your view on that?
So it's changing recently. I saw Belgium and Holland, they put in some laws because a lot of these microtransactions, they're starting to become gambling, methods of gambling, and this is a good thing for the gaming industry where they're changing a little bit now, so that companies can't do this, manipulate their consumers into spending money by gambling, basically. I mean, if you look at FIFA, for example, and all they've been doing with the Ultimate Team, and the packs and all this, in some countries that doesn't exist because it's literally banned in those countries. And as soon as other governments and other countries start to realize this, which I think the UK will end up doing this pretty
I think because the UK they brought a few gamers in court. I think this was to do with I think it was an NBA game or something. Would say, this is gambling, and if it's gambling, then it shouldn't be sold to kids who are under 18, which is illegal.
I think it was Fortnite and EA, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway,
though it's taking out.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens when if these laws pass, which I don't think they will because of how much money these companies are generating off this. But if they do, then we'll just have to see how the gaming industry changes, and if this goes over to America as well, which would be interesting.
What type of games should be made more? For me, two types of games I would say, and obviously I want to know what Daniel thinks. But firstly, for sure, RPGs, role-playing games, and I think role-playing games that give you freedom to do what you want to do. So games like whether you want to say a GTA, a Mass Effect, and so forth. Specifically, games like a Mass Effect, which are story-driven and where you have multiple endings. I like the idea of a freedom to play the game how you want to play the game, and you having a specific ending how you play the game. And indie games, really imaginative, creative indie games where really creative minds just take you on a wholly crazy, unique gaming experience. both graphically, gameplay-wise, and so forth. Because what I always say is that it ain't about graphics; it's about gameplay and concept. That's the thing. It's about what's your concept, how good is your gameplay. Graphics are. I have played some games that have had superb graphics, but the gameplay is flipping garbage. When Dynasty Warriors came out, the graphics were amazing. Dynasty Warriors, the graphics were amazing. Gameplay was a pile of crap because it was too repetitive. So, Daniel, what about you? What do you think about this? What kind of games should be made more?
So yeah, obviously RPGs. Everyone loves open world games, massive games where you have side quests and things to do. But if I just have to give my own opinion, it would have to be obviously indie games, but also esports games.
Okay.
Now, I've been part of esports myself, okay, and I've got to say, esports is really, it's really good. And there's a lot of people out there who
It's
who are
growing.
involved.
It's growing, man.
It's amazing. It's amazing, man. Okay, so I was involved in League of Legends. If you know this game, it's
Yeah.
it's huge in Asia. It's not maybe it's not as big as in Europe, but in North America, it's also very big.
So is it as big as StarCraft?
Much bigger, man. I mean, football in Europe, right? How in the UK, if you're a footballer, you're looked upon as like some sort of celebrity, and everyone
No.
loves your stuff.
I think
If
that's
you go
how
to
it is.
Korea, if you're an esports player, yeah, if you're an esports player in Korea, I mean, it's the same thing as football. People love esports over there, especially League of Legends, and I would love to see more esports games rise up and compete with these big titles like League of Legends and Dota and Counter Strike. So yeah, more esports game would be amazing. They're really entertaining to watch.
This is a really interesting question. I think it speaks to something that Danny mentioned. Do you think indies can take over the big boys? Now,
No.
you mentioned the Switch.
Yeah.
And you know what has happened now? Think about this. Most people commute. Most people are on the go. Most people are traveling, airports, plane rides, and so forth. The era of console gamings, I believe, are slowly dying. And I think more consumers are now getting into the handheld games. Just based on facts, more people play games on their phone than have consoles. Because most people who are commuting early, rush hour, phone, Angry Birds, whatsoever, that bubble game, boom, Candy Crush, all that kind of stuff. So what I do think, because see, I think that I don't know when it will happen, but I do think that the gaming industry, because not enough dynamic, interesting games are being made, and there is so much focus on microtransactions, I do think that there's going to be a shift, which is why I just think that, and this is why maybe Nintendo have been very coy, because Nintendo let these guys just keep doing this whole super graphics, AAA, all this kind of stuff. We're going to be in our video game bag and just make games, enjoyable games. And what Nintendo have always understood is gameplay will always defeat graphics. Always, all the time. It always will be. People still play Tetris to this day. People still play Tetris to this day because Tetris is just an amazingly enjoyable and easy game.
The thing with Nintendo is that I think a lot of people might get fooled by what they're trying to do here. I mean, they're a great company and they make some great games, but they're no different from all the AAA business owners. I mean, as soon as they get into a position like Rockstar, where they can sit back and generate money off microtransactions, they'll do the same thing. I mean, these indie companies, they're great, and I love what they're doing. But as soon as they overtake the big games, they'll be those big companies, and they'll try to do exactly the same because all of these companies are trying to reach that same.
Because your boy here says that those people are not gamers HH. But as we said before, who made the Nintendo Wii sell out? Were they gamers? No. It was regular people. My aunt, who has never bought a console in her life, bought a Nintendo Wii for my cousins. So it's about numbers and money. It's about business. And business works on numbers and how many people you can get to buy your product. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'll find it hard to believe that the Nintendo Wii isn't one of the best-selling consoles of all time. Or,
It is, yes.
you know, but facts. The Nintendo Wii is for its first few weeks of release has sold more than any system in history, because no electronic system was that sold out or sold as many units as frequently as the Nintendo Wii did in the first few months of release, which is insane. It wasn't gamers who were selling it out. It was people. Gamers represents less than 1% of people in this world. 99% of people aren't gamers. They're just regular people. So if you can create a console or a game that the gamers buy, but specifically the 99% of regular people buy, you will trounce everything, which is where Nintendo are getting into. Because where Nintendo are getting into is we have the gamers because we've built up the respect through SNES and so forth. Like one of my friend's brother, he's a full-on hardcore Nintendo fanboy. So he'll buy anything in the Nintendo, and he's a hardcore gamer. So they've got the gamers, but they've also got the 99% as well, based on just how easy and how accessible that gaming console is. I mean, your thoughts on that?
I didn't think about it like that, because obviously Nintendo isn't in the, they're not in the console, war that's going on right now with Xbox and PlayStation. So they're doing their own thing, but I've always thought about it as being they're moving towards maybe indie games, or this generation that's just been with the games of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They'll try to, if they make a new console like PlayStation, let's say they make a Switch Pro, instead of having the next generation games, they'll have this generation games on that console. So that therefore they don't, they're not competing in any console wars. But still, what you said about them having, they're not moving into the gaming market, but more to do with just in general entertainment. It's very interesting because I didn't think about it like that. But I think you're right, because the Switch is a completely different console. So something we've never seen before. Something you can bring on a plane, bring on a train, or
no. It's an amazing. See, I haven't played it, but from what my brothers have told, because I always used to look at my brother when he was playing Zelda. So my brother would be playing it on a TV. He would play it when I'm like, oh wow, that's a crazy concept. So you can carry that all the way with you, either via console or bone like that, which is cool. But let me ask you this though. So how much, because I've been seeing people in the live chats discuss, so this may be last 5 minutes before we end the stream. Do you do much PC gaming?
Yeah, a lot. So basically, I used to be just PC, just because I never had I had consoles, but it was more to do with later on when I grew, when I was able to basically pay for my own stuff, I was able to get my own consoles and stuff. But growing up, it was all PC, and because that's the only thing I had really. And so all the video games I played was on PC.
So my question is the future now going to be PC gaming? So do you think PC gaming will sort of take over the market? Because see, what I learned from my amigo, my friend who also was on the stream earlier on, was that and I didn't actually realize this, that you can build a PC that has better graphics than like the PS5 or the PS4 Pro, which is crazy. It's like, because I always thought that the best graphics are on consoles. I just assumed that. But he said, no. You can, if you just find the right graphics card, you can build a PC that has better graphics than any console. It's like, what?
Yeah. So what? Basically, I'll just let you in a little bit on my life, but I'm studying computer science right now, and
Okay.
I didn't know that much about consoles. I knew that there were types of computers, but I didn't know that much about them. And then as soon as I was studying all about computer science and all this, I opened up a PlayStation, I opened up an Xbox, and you can see how they are actually also computers. So I mean, there's all this console war about who's better than who, but at the end of the day, they're all computers, and
Yeah.
if the consoles get better, the computers are also better. So I mean, I think the way to go would be to probably build your own computer, and the only thing that the consoles have over PC at the moment are the exclusives. But apart from that, yeah, PC is better than. I mean, it's just when it comes to how you play games. If all the games on the consoles were on PC, for me, PC wins every time. But yeah, the only thing that's holding that's pushing console forward is their exclusives. Yeah.
Yeah, so so you see, my thing about it is this is because I've sort of been PC gaming like in and out, so because I've always been like a more of a traditionalist with like console gaming. Because my thing is, when do we reach a point? Because even looking at Red Dead Redemption, I'm like, man, look at how crazy these graphics are. But we will reach a point when it's basically real. The graphics are basically like photorealistic.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get there. I don't think we'll get there, but I mean,
Why not? So,
because
okay,
there's a very deep conversation. But if you want to get into it,
if you
real
think
is chaotic, man. You can't create that type of chaos in a video game. So
no. But my thing though is, look at the leap we've made from Red Dead Redemption 2 to flipping Mario, or look at the leap we made from Zelda: A Link to the Past to Zelda flipping Ocarina of Time, or to Breath of the Wild, and how amazing those graphics are. Why, you say, in the next 20 years, 25 years, we have graphics that are almost photorealistic if we can't carry on the same progression? Again, for instance, look at Thanos. Again, but there are times when you look at Thanos from Infinity War, like, this dude is looking pretty real. Looking pretty real.
I would recommend you go and watch the trailer for the Flight Simulator, the new one that's coming out this year, because that is incredible. They literally created a whole map of the planet Earth, using Google Maps. Oh, no, I think it's Bing Maps, and you can fly anywhere you want, and it looks ultra realistic. So I mean, if you want to look, that's something that's incredible. Watch that because it'll blow you away. But I don't think people want to play games that are too realistic.
That's
you said before, when it comes to
see, my thing about it is, why do we play video games? And this is even my thing with Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, as I said, I started by saying it is the most realistic video game I've ever played. Do I want to play a game that is fully realistic? Or do I want to play a game that I enjoy? Now, sometimes it can be a pretty cool experience to play something that feels fully real. But when we play a video game, we want to escape. Something like we watch certain films, so we watch comedies, we watch superhero movies because we know it's fake, we know it's not real, but we want to escape. We want to have a feeling of being to escape. Why is GTA? See, I preferred GTA 3 and Vice City to GTA 4 because GTA 4 just felt a bit more realistic, but GTA 3 and Vice City felt a lot more cartoony and just a lot more fun to play in what you wanted to do. So, that's, I mean, it's like, I still believe that we will get to a stage where you see, the next stage is VR. I don't know whether we'll be alive to
I
see it.
don't
But
know.
the next stage is virtual reality, where like you get plugged into the wall, like the
Have
Matrix.
you played VR?
Now, this is the thing. I don't know what it was because in my office there was this horror movie thing where you put on this whole goggles and you're like in a haunted house. Scared the living freak out of me. And I said, you know what?
Yeah.
You see, and that was just a taste because basically it was free like that, and it was like a 360-degree things in your haunted house, and you were walking through and everything, and I was like crazy. So see for me, like for instance, why would I play a VR of like Silent Hill? It's like, are you sick? Heck no. Heck
Yeah, no, I get you, I get you. But the thing is, see, I've owned a VR headset, and I've been, I used it quite a lot last year, and it has a long way to go, man. It has a long way to go. I mean, I couldn't play VR more than an hour, and because I got motion sickness. It was
yeah.
horrible. So I don't know. I don't think I would enjoy VR that much, to be honest. It's an interesting thing, and I'm sure a lot of people, as when they try it the first time, they're like, "Wow, this is amazing!" But if you actually own a VR headset and you play it, it
No,
gets
no, no,
boring. It's really boring.
my thing is, I'm thinking of it a bit more next gen. So not even a head. I don't not even like a headset. So obviously, the headset is the first stage, but the next stage is where you just get plugged in, and it feels as if you are, for instance, like Red Dead Redemption, where no, you're because it's like this TV series Westworld, where no, you are in it.
Oh yeah, I love that show, man.
So you'll be plugged it in, and it doesn't even feel like if you're wearing a headset. It's like no, you are actually in the wild, wild west with a gun and so forth.
Yeah.
That's the next level.
So yeah, I think that's what you call augmented reality. So I think that would be a lot better, and that exists, but they still haven't done any games with augmented reality yet. I just think VR, when you put like a big helmet on and you have to move around, there's still a lot to do. Because I don't know, I've played it a lot, and it's not quite there yet.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Fable. Wait, so did you ever play Fable?
I had friends who played it, and I know it was in the Xbox event today, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna save Xbox, to be honest.
No, it's not. Let me tell you a quick story about Fable. So, Fable, I thought was going to because see, I'm a huge on RPGs. So Peter Molyneux, who was developing Fable, he said and he promised that in Fable, all of your actions have consequences. All of your actions have reactions, and anything you do affects the world around you. And if you get caught up, you have like a scar. People remember grudges that you have. You can plant a seed and it grows into a tree years upon years later, and so forth. And this guy promised some of the most dynamic things that we'd ever seen in an RPG. And he played it, and this game was pretty much a brick. It was enjoyable, but it was an enjoyable brick. And I was like, you can't promise all of that and literally deliver nothing. Like, you see, I still have a soft spot for the first Fable film because the gameplay was really good and the idea was good. So the idea was good. The music was outstanding. But if he didn't make those promises, it would have been a pretty cool, decent RPG game. Like the best games on our first Xbox was Halo 1, Halo 2, and Fable. Those were the best games. But the issue was he made so many of these promises and didn't deliver any of those promises, which is what was annoying. So people like games to be authentic games, not realistic. So what do you think people mostly want in games? Do they want their games to feel? You see, because that is interesting. Authentic and realistic.
Depends on the game. There's many types of games. Some people like horror games, which I don't understand because to me, horror games are not fun. Okay, they're really not fun.
Horror games are not.
Some of them are good. Some of them are good, but Some of them are
Like,
just terrifying.
I mean, why the hell are you playing a horror game? So you're fully
I have no
interacting
idea.
in a haunted house with like, come on. You see, that's when
Yeah.
you're a psychopath if you're playing like a horror game.
So exactly. So it's not all to do with fun because there's some games that aren't fun and people still play them. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on the type of game. Um, some games, like RPGs, have to be more realistic, because of that type of game is open world games, and the way you interact with the world has to be more realistic. But
Okay, so for you, so what? So okay, let's end with this. Let's end with this. So your ultimate game. What is like your ultimate
oof.
kind of game?
Okay,
Like
so
what elements bring into like your ultimate game?
a lot of my favorite games, such as I don't know if you know Undertale,
Mm-mm.
but that's an amazing game, and then some other games like Stanley Parable, they're really aware of the player, right? So not just of the character you're playing as, but as the person behind the screen. So I love games that do that, that break the fourth wall.
Oh yeah.
So I would love a game like that, combined with maybe an open world game. I think that would be amazing. Um, it would creep me out a little bit. I think it would be way too realistic, but I think it would be an amazing game, and nobody's done it yet, which is surprising.
No, see, for me, the ultimate game for me is a mixture of Mass Effect and GTA. That for me is the ultimate game, where so you have the freedom and the open world sandbox nature of GTA, but you have the narrative structure, the customization, and the characterization of Mass Effect. That for me is the ultimate game. Because see,
Yeah.
the weakness of GTA is this and maybe Red Dead Redemption is that the story isn't very good. The plot isn't very good. Like the story isn't very compelling. You're just into it for the experience. The weakness of Mass Effect was, bro, I'm supposed to explore the galaxy. So it felt very the exploration felt very linear. So
There's a game coming out called Starfield. Starfield, I think. It's made by
Starfield.
Bethesda. Bethesda's making a new game that's supposed to come out in the next 2 years. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out, but it's basically called Starfield, and I think that's the type of game you're looking for, man. It's gonna come out soon.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Last okay, I was like, so final question. Final question. The most hour, and maybe this is a question I want for the live chat as well. So for the live chat, you can answer this as well. The most hours you've spent on a video game. The most hours you've
yeah.
considered to a video game. So live chat as well. Tell me. So people in the live chat, tell me the most hours you've dedicated to playing a video game.
So for me, it's a mixture between a few games. I mean, because as soon as
There has to be one. Come on, there must be one where like,
no, I don't
yeah,
know, man.
this game
I have
is
no idea. I have no idea. It's either League because of the esports kind of thing that I had going on. This is kind of embarrassing, but I'd say Minecraft because I was big into that when it first came out, and then Warframe. And if you know what this game is, if anyone in the chat knows what this game is, it's an amazing game. And
wait, what's it called? Warframe.
Warframe, yeah, Warframe, and I've played a lot of that. So yeah.
For me, it's has to probably be Skyrim. Mass Effect 2 was close, but I think I did something to like 70, 80 hours on Skyrim in total. Like
30 hours, man. That's nuts.
no. I almost played my 360 until it was faulty.
Yeah, man, I think I've got like over 2,000 hours in Warframe. So a lot of time, a lot invested in that game. I gotta be honest. But yeah,
Actually, know the thing though, you see, back when it was called Championship Manager,
yeah,
I
yeah.
played
That's
the
it.
heck out of that game. So back when it was called Championship My Manager, and the reason is that the funny thing is that my laptop got stolen, and because my laptop got stolen, it actually saved me from not failing school because I literally was. See, I'll tell you this right now, bro. The most addictive game of all time is Championship Manager, Football Manager, easily, which is why I've tried to just stay away because trust me, if I get into my Football Manager bag, hours. Easily hours on end, man.
Yeah, man.
So for me,
Same. This year has been Football Manager, man. For me, this is my first year at uni. As soon as I got there, I was like, should I play my Spurs?
To go into it. Cool. So for me, it's Batman Arkham Asylum. I beat that game like 10 times, and I beat it in every difficulty and go, oh my god! You see, this is yeah. You see, for me, I don't really do that. So for me, my thing is Skyrim. So obviously, when I see Skyrim, that's my ish, man. Because
wait, did you finish Skyrim?
Yeah,
80 hours. No, that's incredible. You finished Skyrim in 80 hours, man. That's, with all the side quests and everything.
I mean, I can't see. To be honest, like I can't remember how many hours it was, so it could have been more. But I did because I didn't just do how I play these games. I just don't do things. And when I play these games, I go in. So I try and investigate everywhere, go through everywhere. But see, Skyrim, so that's my kind of game where there is so much to do, so much to investigate, so much to invest. It's crazy. But guys, look,
Skyrim was a work of art, man. Skyrim was a work of art. I mean, the music in that game, the art style, the characters,
the music, the graphics, the customization, the gameplay. Skyrim is one of those things. Guys, look, man, Daniel. It's been swell having you, man. I have to.
Yeah, man. Thanks for everything, man. This is amazing to do these streams, man.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. Thanks for coming along, man. And guys, thank you for being part of here. Drop a like, do what you have to do, and your boys are peace out, guys. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace out. Become a Half Hope Sort member and gain access to exclusive videos and also the chance to watch films, anime, or different videos with your boy HH exclusively. Just click below on the join button to join in and become a Half Hope Sort member to gain access to these perks. Just click on the community icon over here to view the new members only posts just for you.